I really need people to stop being so stupid. Black people and white people. Black people weren't the only slaves. They weren't even the first slaves. You know what I mean? Nobody should be a slave, but this whole idea of black people were done so wrong. All people, they slave all people. They've slaved their own people. The government hopes and wishes that people like me are dead around the next growth of a new generation. So we're not here to teach the truth, because we've been here long enough to know and see what's truly going on and the shit they're doing. So while I'm here, since I'm here, I'm gonna take y'all to school real quick.
In September 1919, a former amateur artist and army veteran named Adolf Hitler joined the ranks of the German Workers' Party, later known as the Nazis. It was a decision that would have a profound impact not only on Germany, but the entire world. The atrocities committed by the Nazis at the height of their power are staples of every lesson on World War II. But just how did a democracy like Germany fall under the sway of a tyrant in the first place?
Because of the people. People not being entailed enough, intelligent, knowing truth inside, aware of truth inside. They follow blindly shit that they think is the truth, but they're just entailed on what they're told and taught. If you were born in the woods and it's only 5 people in those woods that you were born in that were there before you were there, telling you everything that they think and believe, what else are you gonna think and believe? It's just common sense. But you gotta have enough intel and it's natural to know correct and what's not correct. But when you're manipulated and brain toxin by people who are sick and they're teaching you, naturally you're just gonna be sick in growth, and it just spreads, and the shit gotta stop. But let's carry on.
He insisted that one group was to blame for the nation's post-war misfortunes: the Jews.
And when you look at these people they call the Jews, when you look at these people, you see they're just white people. They slave their own people first to build houses and tell them what to do and molest the kids and mutilate them and experiment on them and test things on them. They did this to their own people first. It's right here. It was after that when they spread out and they just spreaded the shit out that they came across brown-skinned people. People are so slow. They don't even comprehend that they got y'all calling this black. The strings on my hoodie are black. This is brown. So it's simple things. People are so slow nowadays. They're missing the simple things. That's how slowed down they move people's minds to.
Now, today marks the 75th anniversary of one of the most horrific events of the Second World War, the Holocaust. And our next report gives you a sense of how the Jews were persecuted under the reign of Hitler.
More than 4 million men, women and children were scientifically murdered by gassing.
Maurice Gluck was 3 when his parents were deported from Belgium to Auschwitz, a move that tore the family apart. They were taken to the largest death factory in Nazi Germany, a concentration camp where more than 1 million Jews were murdered. Maurice Gluck lost his mother to the Holocaust. His father barely survived. Maurice was living with a Christian family, the Van de Stocks. He reunited with his father years later. It was one of the most traumatic experiences of his life.
In that bath lay a man, barely recognizable, was more like a skeleton covered with flesh, all grey, unshaven, and bald-headed. And when Van den Stock saw me, he said, "Look, Maurice, this is your father." And father wanted to hug me and stretch out these thin arms, and it so frightened me, I just ran away and cried.
On 27 January 1945, these Soviet forces were perhaps the first outsiders to witness the horror of Hitler's concentration camps. On that day, about 7,000 prisoners were found alive. Hungry faces with their arms tattooed with registration numbers for identification. These pictures are a grim reminder of the mass murder of Jews under Hitler.
And just in case anybody who's full of hate trying to defend this hateful shit and make it seem correct in some stupid way, this is the History Channel. One of the biggest go-tos for history, his story. Just some stupid shit filled person's story. This is like the Google and the goddamn. This is just the go-to for this is what they put together. This is the all the little graphics and all this shit, how they well put this shit together and worded in a way so it's delivered how they want it to be received. They put this out. I didn't put this out. I'm just deciphering it so y'all can identify between the truth and the fake shit, because they gotta put the truth in it. It's not gonna make sense without truth. Nothing is gonna make sense without truth in it. So they gotta keep truth in it in some way, and they do that by putting the minimum of truth in there. It's the littlest of truth they could put in there. That's how much they put in there, and the rest is gonna be bullshit, because everything they're telling y'all is bullshit. The truth is, they're so full of hate. They do so much hateful shit still to this day. They still do the same shit to this day. Check this out.
Under Hitler's orders, rival parties were banned, while paramilitary groups cracked down on protests and executed political opponents. Anti-Semitic laws prohibited Jews from working, voting, and occupying public spaces.
They made this documentary. All I'm doing is showing y'all. They made this, and it's clear as day. They stopped people from protesting against them. They stopped people from being able to work who was against them. Anybody who was against them, they just prosecuted them. Not breaking any true laws, not really doing it, not doing anything incorrect. They're being prosecuted for fighting against the bullshit trying to be forced on them by the government at that time, being ran by this shit-faced nigga Hitler and all his shit brain followers who don't know, who aren't entailed about shit, so they just follow shit.
A propaganda department produced art, films, and books praising Hitler and embracing his vision of a better Germany.
Like I just said, they still, the shit they were doing back then to their own people, they're still doing, and still doing to their own people, using television, music, art, films. They had Tom Cruise play The Last Samurai. Tom Cruise, my boy, but The Last Samurai, my nigga. Come on now, bro. They gonna make everything and try to put everything in a way to make one race seem dominant and another race to seem less dominant, when really, all y'all niggas are equal. You know what I mean? Y'all all bleed, y'all all eat the same, need the same shit to breed, but they just want to control people. And they start by manipulating, lying to their own people. not a specific race. If it is a specific race they're lying to and killing, it's their own people. And it's evidence that they started with their own people right here.
Total control, Hitler would shift his focus to global domination, setting the stage for World War II.
It's ironic that they call themselves the Nazis, because they're so filled with hate and wrongdoing and incorrectness and sickness and just creep shit and weirdo shit. They just cannot see the truth. No matter how much you try to give it to them, they fill themselves with so much hate and darkness. Not even the true darkness, because true darkness is not bad. The darkness these niggas got going on is filled with hate. So they cannot see peace and people united. They cannot see. They blocked it out. They hate so much, they block it out to where they can't even see it if you wanted them to.
During World War II, the Nazis and their allies carried out the genocide of European Jews. Several claims say that some 6 million Jews were murdered. This was around 2/3 of Europe's Jewish population. Most of the killings happened between 1941 and 1945. But the seeds of the persecution were planted much earlier. When Hitler rose to power as the Chancellor of Germany, his regime built a network of concentration camps. The first targets were political opponents, labeled as undesirable by the Nazis. In March 1933, Germany passed the Enabling Act. This new law gave Hitler the powers to isolate Jews from the society. What followed was the systematic persecution of European Jews. As Hitler's soldiers invaded other European nations, Jewish businesses were ransacked, smashed, and set on fire.
Y'all know how Black Lives Matter movements went on and anti-vax movements go on, and it's all peaceful. But out of nowhere, somehow, some stupid shit-brain person ends up coming from out of nowhere, setting shit on fire, throwing bricks through windows. And one of the groups they called the Antifa. But it's not the people protesting. Government are sending like undercover niggas to act like they're with the protests and then start doing hostile shit. So then they can make a law saying, hey, we can't have y'all protesting. When really it's people they sent into the protest to make shit hostile so they'll have a reason to stop the protest. Why wouldn't they do that? They say right here, this has been a strategy and tactic they use in the agenda of controlling people. When they start a protest, go undercover into the protest, stir up some shit, and then make a law banning it because it's too hostile. People, they say it right here, they've been doing the shit. The same shit they've been doing. They're still doing the shit.
Places of worship were destroyed. The Nazis terrorized Jews throughout Germany and its territories. Jewish people lost all of their freedoms and rights under Hitler. After Germany invaded Poland, the Nazi forces began segregating Jews with the rest of the population. They were placed in ghettos, away from the rest of the people. What happened next was described by the Nazis as the final solution. Thousands of Jews were moved to concentration camps. Gas chambers were used to murder many of them. Poisonous fumes were released inside sealed rooms to carry out an industrial slaughter. Outside the camps, the Nazis carried out mass shootings. Many others starved to death. The major concentration camps have been turned into museums now. They serve as poignant reminders of some of the darkest hours for humanity. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
You want to believe the fake shit? Believe the fake shit. You want to believe the truth? Believe the truth. You want to live by the fake shit? Live by the fake shit. You want to live by the truth? Live by the truth. The all-powerful highest gives you what you want. You get what you want. And really, it doesn't give you what you want. You just go for what you want, and that's what you're going to have. And it's not going to stop you. Shit, you want to die by the fake shit? Die by the fake shit. You want to live by the truth? You can live by the truth. I'm an example. Yeah, so tell a hater that shit.